Well, this is the setup. So we best get to some giddy up. Because the night, she is a dwindling. Here I am. Hello. This is where I'm at this evening. One of our most sacred Native American, I believe Navajo blanket, but I can't remember. It's a lot of memories to keep up with. And then another of our best. This one I know we got in Taos, but again the details are a bit fuzzy. This goes up a little, you could actually see it. I will read it to you in a bit. That's a better angle. I will be wearing 3 of my, well, they're all my mother's. Okay, they're all my mother's. But 3 of the best Indigenous representative shirts in this house, and there are a lot. But I picked the best ones. Thanks, Mom. And doing a little sacred ceremony, and my headpiece also from Indigenous artists. I think in the 70s, my mother was gifted this, and I've spoken this in many other videos about the nature of acquiring these sacred items and what it means to our family. A Sioux chief, I think Sioux. I'm sorry. These stories get, it's. I would have to pull out the document, but a chief gifted my father an eagle feather, which you can only legally possess if it comes with a legal document from a chief. So that's the kind of upbringing I had. That's the kind of childhood I had, and I'm just putting that out there as a precursor. That if you want to say, "Oh, curse her," get it? Precursor, curse her. Because you feel that this is appropriating culture, or that I don't possess the right to speak these words and give this honor, then you can feel that way if you like. But I was led into very holy ceremonies in Kibas as a child and treated as family, and it's one of the best pieces of story that have a hold on me, that are a part of me, that are woven into me. So I had to do this evening. I just could not. I have in many years past kind of faced the crowds, so to speak, and faced the music, if you want to call music intolerable, ear bleeding, booming. But I couldn't do it this year. My sensitivities are off the chain, and the pain and the suffering is too real, and the bang up job that we did, and I believe bang up job is a euphemism for not a very good job. But the bang up job that America did of facing this crisis makes me clench my fists a bit and my jaw and just kind of I couldn't do it. I couldn't do the yeah, I totally feel it's really doing a great job, America, and yeah, hot dogs, I love it. Look over there. And the like, boo, boo, go us, boo, yeah, boo, which my neighbors are indulging in mightily right now, and I get it. Everybody's cooped up, and we feel that we've earned some sort of, whatever, the soccer player who ripped her shirt off and of course got a bunch of grief because she's a woman, but that whole kind of, we're cooped up, we gotta just, rah! But I can't take that energy right now, so I'm here, and you may hear a lot of booming, kablooming, kablooing in the background, or you may also hear the Native American meditative astral projection playlist. That's what it's called. We're listening to right now. And I assure you, I didn't plan it that way to be extra in my thematics. But in a practical way, our dog has what I can only describe as next level panic attacks with thunder or fireworks or alarms or beeps or crazy loud noises or ambulances. And we have all of those things happening tonight. We've got bingo card full of all those things. We got the thunder, we've got the booming, and the dogs going crazy about the booming, and so the only thing that we have found to work today is this astral projection, indigenous people's music. It's the only thing that's working. Oh yeah, I started to show you my fetish. This is one of the best fetishes that we have. It's a turtle one, and I was trying to say that when I pray, this is how I do it, and it means a lot to me, and it's been acquired to me throughout my life, really. So yeah, I do love America. That's what the poem is tonight. It's like, it's this fight in my mind, and you'll see in the words, and it's pretty intense, but I can only tell you that I didn't really write it. I just talked to my soul, and I know that sounds deep down and very hoo-hoo, and it is, and I intend it to be hoo-hoo, but I really did. I just asked my soul because I was very conflicted about what to hold back and what to give out tonight, and this poured out of me, I can tell you, without any real thinking. I mean, intention, yes, but knowledge of words or like specifics, no, just it flowed. And the flag is not a diss on America. It's actually quite patriotic. It's been my mother's for a very, 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 very long time. Came from her family, and we had it outside for so long that one summer, many summers ago, it got too well loved. And it is kind of a metaphor, though, because America, she's a little worn down right now. She's a little parched in a desert of misbehavior and people who rely on a savior but don't want to save her, don't want to be the savior themselves to save her. And by her, I mean planet Earth that we currently inhabit is the only place we can breathe and live upon. So I'm gonna get a little sacred and stop trying to plainsplain myself, and just be here with you. Give a new view. We'll go for match 2. The Palo Santo is always hardest to light, but I'll try to do it right. Okay. Putting out some real hopes that maybe we can quiet down a bit at some point and really sit with what has become so disjointed and stop thinking thinking that we're appointed by some holy council to be the cock of the walk, and start actually listening to each other when we talk. Try to make things right on this spinning rock. Oh, Palo Santo, you are so holy of an element. My sage has gone out. I'm trying to get all three of my elemental smokes token at the same time here. But it's not as easy as it looks, friends. It's not as easy as it looks. As long as we use under 7 matches, I'm fine. Fine with it. Okay. All 3 are going. If only showing their sacred smoke for a short time. And feathers also attained by sacred journeys, sacred circumstances. Watching many sacred dances. So I'll bring you my poem now. It's quite raw, but it's real. So here's the deal. It's called You Make It So Hard to Love You, America. Sometimes you make me feel proud that I'm a part of you. And other times I'm just mad at how you kind of act empirical. And I feel pulled away from not only you, but this whole spherical home. Sometimes you make me feel alone. Like everybody's partying and there's nothing to atone for. Often I just watch the news you brew and feel terrible. You make me feel kind of hysterical. And I don't mean like in a funny way. I mean like I don't even know what to say to defend this place or how to save face when it comes to what's inscribed in the history pages. I find myself wondering what the hell happened to all the sages and wise ones. Did they just run from our arrogant, foolhardy party? Did they dispense all their brilliant remarks and find that all the power-hungry sharks were swimming after some chum thrown in the water and didn't even pause to absorb what they had to offer? From kings to politicians to paupers, I feel like no matter what you have to offer to this place, you're made to feel it's somehow a disgrace and not enough or maybe too much. It's a tough conundrum smooshed behind glossy signs always telling you to be yourself and preaching inclusivity and individuality when underneath it all is the gnashing teeth of a giant machine asking you to wipe your conscience clean and enjoy the ranks of the pushy, ruthless, truthless, entitled dance recital of the competitive and mean. We put a glossy sheen on everything until nothing is what it seems. We've got the greatest shows and bowls and pageants and movies, when all the while, behind the scenes, an obscene number of our own people can't buy any food that's green or nourishing, can't even pause to dream of flourishing because they're too consumed with skirting the edge of strange survival. Our economic stronghold rivals the Romans, and we barely blink at millions who can't even recall what home is. We phone in empathy with retweets and small degrees of generosity. But if we simply adapted a slightly more human, inclusive, selfless philosophy, we could fix it instead of making useless TikTok snippets featuring hair hacks and whack-ass dances stolen from struggling people who will never get the credit. We need to do a full societal edit, but we can't even fully chew a single fucking bite once we've been fed it. We're on to the next swipe, the next Reddit blurb, the next unexpected swerve to an all-new disaster. It's hard to even tell these days what we're all after. Is it just the immediate high of who has more heart clicks gathered? No need to pay no matter to the hereafter or the deeper layers in the ever-expanding now. The demanding addictions to find the next thing to click on makes us all bow to our abusers. Like that friend who just keeps on going back to that loser who never chooses her. Looking back at the stacks of actions America has never been held accountable for, it's just a big blur. Much like all those friends who we all have, who are so sure it's going to be different this time and return to those users, only to find the big promises they make just make it easier to take more from you, my dear. I fear that I myself know more of these than I can count. I guess it all really just amounts to how willing we are to demand more for ourselves and each other. 'Cause we'll get fucking smothered if we make no counteraction to prevent the fuckers from squeezing our air supply. Why don't we ask why more? How is it so many folks can ignore the smoke when it's choking them? Ignore the joke when it's on them? Ignore the constant obvious poke of karma and basic dignity being like, yo, remember me? Hi, don't act like you don't see me. We preach a lot about free. But when I think of what that word means to me, I'm not sure that I'm quite there at the level I'd like to be. See, I'm made to feel beneath the feet of so many because I didn't hunt down that life-defining degree. I'm constantly scolded by superior types for being even a few degrees above complacent. I'm sorry, but that's just total control adjacent. I'm only ever alluding to a whisper of my general desired statement, and people fucking blatantly shush me like we're in some shitty movie that doesn't even mean a thing, and I accidentally let my phone ring. I don't know. I wish I felt like singing celebratory, "Our story is so awesome" songs. But that's not how I feel. So I ain't gonna play along. So much of how we solidify our American image is just flat out wrong. You make it so hard to love you, America. And don't get it twisted. I really do want to. I want to feel like I belong to you. I look to your fruited, voluptuous plains, and it's insane the beauty that stirs in my brain. The gentle crystal rain that falls upon my Colorado lavender and lifts away layers of my pain. I can't hardly contain my passion for so much of what you grant me the ability to see and to touch. But asking me not to see the rough spots would be too great a feat. See, it's not you, America. It's the humans upon you that are less than discreet with their appalling, careless greed. It isn't your fault, America, but it also isn't easy to unsee. It's your people who clutch to this narrative that is so overtly untrue that it's bleak. Defending the red, white, and blue even when that seems all but impossible to do. Like kissing your best friend's hubby, then acting like you didn't have a clue. Mission fucking accomplished and all that gun-clutching, nuclear code button-hovering well-to-do. Beauty and integrity smothering arrogance. It's like what started as a simple dance, then one partner intentionally stamps down on the other's foot and responds to their pain by saying, "You shouldn't have put your foot there." Our inability to just own the actual fucking story makes me feel despair. People very seriously do not care about anything beyond themselves. Like droves of them. I can't even accept it in my hopeful wanting the best in everyone's head. But it's like Neil deGrasse Tyson said, if the threat of COVID had come in the form of aliens out to end us, and our whole fate rested and depended on coming together collectively to ensure the survival of humanity, we would not be on the mend. We'd be rendered useless insofar as we would no longer be here to produce more precious Marvel movies or stick our snooty noses or to stick our snooty noses in the air because some barista forgot one ingredient of that frappe with extra whip. For plumping our entitled... I have to say that line again because I put plumbing instead of plumping. Insofar as we would no longer be here to produce more precious Marvel movies or stick our snooty noses in the air because some barista forgot one ingredient, dared to forget one ingredient of that frappe with extra whip for plumping our entitled derrieres. No more county fair corn dogs, which, don't get me wrong, I love. But you gotta have a planet, not just a planet blog, to be high on that kind of hog. If we don't join forces, there's no morning jog playlist, no Friday night wasted, no, ooh, you gotta taste this. If we waste this shot to live together in some kind of harmonic shift, then I'm sorry folks, that's fucking it. We're talking erase, no undo button. Damn, I understand we've all got a little glutton in us, but this going for bust with selfish behavior got me wishing I did believe in some singular perfect savior, because I'd be hitting up their holy pager and sending smoke signals and messenger pigeons right about now. Eating slabs of cow and lighting things on fire is not going to acquire the desired effect. I'll let y'all just reflect on that a little. If you're able. Like, I get it, it's hard. I'm here at the table with you, eating the mixed stew that is this very real, very weird, well-to-do called being alive on Earth. But I gotta think it's worth it to keep on gently or forcefully, if need be, suggesting we do a little more empathetically, wisely, and effectively. I think it starts with a direct plea to those we displaced. Seriously, can we please fucking replace some of what has been taken? This goddess-forsaken soul debt is a net that doesn't only encompass a few of us. We broke the trust of the people who were here first, and our corrupt thirst for more gold and more power when we're already straight up Scrooge McDuck when we're already straight up Scrooge McDuck swimming our neck deep. Oh my God, this line. Voice to text is killing me. We broke the trust of the people who were here first, and our corrupt thirst for more gold and more power when we're already pretty much straight up Scrooge McDuck, swimming our neck deep all up in it, is seriously some messed up shit. You make it so hard to love you, America. Every time I turn on my TV, I gotta stare at the reality of another mass shooting and another and another and another and more to come. Every time I go anywhere, I gotta be accosted by some full-blown dumb vitality and peace destroyer. Like a fucking monster truck plowing through a lovely decorated stained glass foyer. America, I like you. I really do. I love you even. I wanna love you more too. But you fuck with my ability to view you in a favorable light. The general idea of you is all right, but the execution is all fight and ego. Like what, I'm just supposed to be a rodent following the Pied Piper? Like, yeah, whatever, wherever you go, I go. No. All men are created equal, but they sure ain't all treated as such. Not in the terrible clutch of this too much is never enough and tough stuff to the little guy, pie in your underprivileged society. Pie in your underprivileged eye society. Inalienable rights sound really nice, but it's more like a fight to have any rights at all. And while we may be the belle of the ball in terms of having any rights at all on a global scale, I just don't understand how we continually fail to make actual progress on that front. We cheer on our feet, so happy for the football punt. But damn, this inequality growth of the people always being stunted. Inequality. Growth of the people always being stunted, confronted by the need for change but being unwilling to arrange one iota of our salad bar buffet of whatever we want that particular day. Gray area excuses, misuse of power every hour on the hour, huge towers where the corrupt elite are showered with favor and fake compliments, the stifling anti-progress policy passing we with brains cannot help but resent. destruction of hope and passion. Best not be asking any questions, never ever seeming to learn the obvious lessons. Constant, unmistakable oppression routine is getting so fucking old, if you feel what I mean. America, you're sometimes like a beauty queen who forgot how to be beautiful by beaming from within. At times, you're like that finger-wagging preacher who pulls out of the parking lot eager to sin. Sometimes, America, I look at what I'd like to rearrange about you and I feel overwhelmed as to where I should begin. Why do we of this beautiful land insist that the only meaningful plan is to win, win, win? What good does a trophy do if we undo all forward momentum and allow the sun to boil and destroy all that we have toiled and employed our finest minds to keep alive? If there's no more flowers or beehives or gentle sides of nature, a whole case of trophies accentuating our great stature will be as good as farts in the breeze. We heat this place up by many more degrees, and then we may just have to learn the brutal experience of being on our knees blubbering for mercy. Maybe I just sound like another wordy mouth. Perhaps even if I shout it or become devout to preaching this message, there's a good chance this oversaturated zero ability to concentrate meme generating global deterioration accelerating. Zero ability to concentrate, meme generating, global deterioration accelerating, jaded by every new story of frustration population may just not find it noteworthy or impressive. Must we accept the consequences of allowing ourselves to be so regressive? It's like we can't even fully address it. The mounting heat and possible defeat looming right where we sit. The mounting heat and possible defeat looming right where we sit. Gripping the controls, scrolling all the streaming services, beaming hits of undiluted distraction, perusing all the buddy cop high-octane action theatrical flops, seemingly unbothered by the very real possibility that this festering zit of not really giving enough of a shit could very well pop in a pustulous release that would likely mean the defeat of our vitality. We can hope to always land on our feet, but that sweet positivity is no guarantee. From sea to strip mining, coral reef, dying sea. Is this actually the best that we can be? There's a better version of us attainable without only monetary coercion, I pray. Drive your Chevrolet through the USA. Nothing can beat her. Life is completer in a Chevy. But what about the heavy burden of the lives taken and destroyed for our burgeoning? Nuts to the unemployed. Hats off to the top dog dominance. Is it really so easy for the big guys with all their big drive to look past all the despondents in their great big planning correspondences? We can try to sugarcoat it, but we can't survive on fondant, kids. Gee whiz, America, you make it so hard to love you. What pushes your people to shove their way through rather than simply having enough perspective in their point of view to know everyone else wants to get to where they're going to? And there's a way of getting there with a little love in tow, rather than just blowing past people like you have no equal, being so disgustingly rude. America, at times, you're like that dude at a wedding who everyone is betting will make a scene, who's so obviously self-obsessed and mean that he just hauls ass past the elderly couples and flower girls to the dinner buffet without managing to say a single "excuse me," because he'd rather stuff his face until his third plate is clean than allow a single other human's needs to be seen by his own eyes. At times, America, you're like a grand prize that the competitors can't help but question if attaining you is worth the sacrifice. It's always step on the other guys to rise, roll the dice to try your luck, or try and try just to end up totally fucked. And we seem stuck on that same extreme pendulum swing where the middle ground or the compromise waiting to be found doesn't seem to mean a thing. Women conditioned to covet that diamond ring. Rappers flaunting their bling. Billionaires turning away from this air and this unfair distribution of possibility just to be all haughty in their quest to be the first to best the other billionaires and fling their rockets way out there in space. Rockets full of facelifts and those with gold-lined pockets, while so many here on this sphere find theirs empty. The land of plenty? Or the land in the hands of the 1%. Sorry to vent, but actually not a bit sorry. If it was up to me, this whole shebang would be a very different party. Ooh, I am sweating. I am sweating like you would not believe. There is a deep amount of sweating, I guarantee. It is happening. There's not really a lot of air that gets to this room, and I have to keep the door closed in order to block out just a small percentage of the outrageous amount of banging and booming going on outside. Because nothing says America like starting fires in a drought and, I don't know, making animals afraid. So, what can I say? There's my feelings. There's my poem. We're gonna go into another zone to bring it home here. Bring it on home. Oh, I'm not gonna do my 3 shirts because I'm afraid of my memory lurching up and making a thing of it. But I did want to show you this. It's beautiful. It was gifted to my mother as well. It says, "We are all part of the earth. We are all brothers. We are one." Beautiful. And I just wrote a little more at the end here. Whew. Sweat is happening. Just wanted to kind of show you a few more of our treasures. Apologize for the extreme sweat, but I did want to get this shirt in there. I wore this a few fourths back and got some flack and slack, but mostly a lot of love. So that was nice. Here's a lot more of our treasures. This woman on the weaving loom, maybe I've shown you, but it's really beautiful. And this art piece of a teepee was an artist friend of my mother's putting up her new teepee that we were lucky enough to see. Some beautiful pottery that's also come to us through beautiful stories. A sand painting of my mother's old shop, the Motherlode, her business that she had, and just, I don't know, I'm so glad that this stuff is a part of my life. These treasures, I shouldn't say stuff, I'm just sweating quite profusely, so I'm finding it difficult to talk. But sacred treasures, I wrote down a few things at the end. Opachan Kano, Tuka Musu, Puatan, Metun Kamut, Chief Joseph. Joseph the Elder, the rare Chief Wilma Mankiller, Red Cloud, Gaul. All the other leaders who left your blood and handprints and love and teachings upon this land with its people still seeking their footing. I am sorry on our behalf that the way we step upon all that we gained by theft is so off-putting. Your spirits sing to me still. They spill over me in any water I touch or utilize. Your eyes are in the skies I look to. I try to keep your honor ever in my view, though it's a great deal to live up to. Thank you, Wado. And this is a prayer I found. Fill us with the light Give us the strength to understand and the eyes to see. Teach us to walk the soft earth as relatives to all that live, as relatives to all that live. And that's a Sioux prayer that I found on healingbrave.com. It's just really beautiful. Teach us to walk the soft earth as relatives to all that live. We really need to get that one right. Okay, so I'm going to call it a night. I've given what I can. I'll end it on this beautiful treasure. My mom got this in the 70s. It's a man doing a sacred sand painting. So we can't wait. We can't wait. Like a sand painting, it can all blow away.